afternoon, Plum here playing World of Tanks, and got a rather interesting replay for you here. This one has been not actually sent in by the driver of this tank. This has actually been sent in by FlashBoredom. I think he found it on What Replays and watched it. Thought it was so interesting and so good that he'd send it on to a few YouTubers perhaps, and I was one of them. And here it is on the channel because it is rather interesting. I've watched it because I was a bit curious to see how the whole match would play out on this one, due to the circumstances of what you're about to see. And the nuts and bolts of this game is probably in the first 2 minutes, and then a bit in the middle, and then a bit at the very end. We're going to go all the way down to the end of this clock almost. So we're in the M56 Scorpion, premium American tank destroyer tier 7, with rather epic gun depression this thing has. It's got 10 degrees of gun depression, which is very good for poking ridges, but we are going to camp in this bush. Now, if I was driving up to that bush just then and I saw an IS-6 that close, I'd think, that's it. Back to the garage, pick another tank, do something else, because I'm about to die. This thing has only got 1mm of armour, but the IS-6 just keeps moving. Doesn't point his gun our way. He must be within just over 100 metres of us, and this bush is doing absolute wonders for our camo rating. We've got the camo net as well. We've got binos, so our view range with the binos. We've got KV5 and a heavy tank number 6 pushing up. It's not often you get tanks push up this rapidly in this map, Prokhorovka. Normally it's all a bit of a cagey affair down this side of the map, but not on this occasion. The IS-6 has gone completely past, not spotted us. The KV5 is probably even closer perhaps than the IS-6 was looking at the mini-map. And our spotting, we managed to get the T-54 Mod 1. Haven't fired a shot yet. We've got 43 rounds on this tank, and heavy tank number 6 is driven past us. I think he's probably scared stiff right now. The actual driver, StofTrommel, too afraid to even turn the camera actually. Look at our ping though. Our ping's interesting, over 300. Plays in South Africa. This is on a North American server, so these signals are flying across the Atlantic Ocean. So we've managed, by some miracle of camo ratings and bushes and nets and just a little bit of courage, to remain completely undetected. And an OI is also pushing up the road too. So our tanks are busy dealing with those guys. But what can he do really? If he turns around and shoots, he's going to get detected. The OI will see him. It'll be a clean shot for the OI. It'll be a clean shot for the Scorpion in the middle of the map if he wasn't busy with an AMX CDC. And these 3 enemy tanks would all see him. So 820 hit points is reasonable for a tier 7, but 1mm of armour is not. And a couple of rounds of high explosive and this tank is just done for. So best thing you can do is just sit tight. KV5, the IS-6, heavy tank number 6, they're having a pretty decent time on our flank. They've knocked out 3 of our machines over here. We've managed to take out a couple more of theirs overall. We're doing some pretty decent work over on the hillside of the map. Looks like our Jag Tiger 88 is nearly dead. Now one of our team is going to be an absolute pain in the butt. I think it's that Tiger 1 player. I think we'll hear from him soon in chat. It's not the usual accusational rubbish that tends to be kicked off in chat. It's more just exactly what he's saying, which is an absolute pain in StofTrommel's neck on this one. Well, the IS-6 is a one-shot now. Heavy tank number 6 he can probably destroy in a couple of shots. I mean, the gun statistics, it's a 90mm gun, 219 on regular AP, and in a chat there someone saying, Scorpion, be very, very quiet. And he is being very, very quiet because no one still detected him. And with the heat rounds, these are the premium rounds, you get a massive 275 penetration, which should be enough to deal with nearly all of these guys. And we actually now start to turn our tank around and do some work. He's saying in chat that he was bricking himself as those tanks were trundling by. I imagine he did think his ticket was about to be punched well and truly. So now maybe we can actually get some damage done after that rather slow yet hair-raising start to the game. We've got 4 tanks left. The enemy have got 7 tanks. IS-6 is over there. KV-5 is moving up. So as long as these guys pop into line of sight, we'll definitely spot them. We've nearly got the maximum view range with the binos on this tank. I think standard view range is 350. Put your binos on it, you're up near a 440. Get an auto lock on the IS-6. Take out the IS-6. First shot fired in the game. Kill a tank. I do believe we have got 6 cents on this machine, so that shot going out wasn't enough to get us detected. Way back here. There's a WZ-111. He's a one-shot, the 111. Can't tell what he's aiming at because the reticule's being a bit silly. Managed to take out the WZ-111. Get a shot into the back of the KV-5. Our ping's still an average of 300. Target's disappeared. Let's try and times 2 it. I think this midsection is going to have a few lulls in it. And we do want to try and get to the end of this game fairly rapidly. Batch times 1 speed. I think we're going to go for the R2D2 unit on the KV-5. Didn't go through. We are loading the heat rounds for this guy. He's coming straight towards us and he's a very strong tank, even though he's got that huge weak spot. These kind of ranges you don't really... If you've got the choice... It's now just one. It's just him. All on his own. His teammates are saying, use gold! The KV-5 I think is desperate to detect him. Firing through all those bushes. We have still remained undetected. Let's speed things up. 2 tank destroyers versus an artillery. I think we're going to try and scout the base if we can. Assuming that the 2 TDs are going to believe they've got an advantage over us. And maybe they're going to start capping before anything else happens. Back down to times 1 speed. We can get an auto lock on the T28 prototype. If you go for the cheeks on the turret on that, that's a good place to aim on the front of a T28 prototype. Probably with the heat round you don't actually need to aim that much. Just maybe it's his ping. Maybe he finds it's just more reliable auto aiming a tank when it's in not moving and it's fully out in the open. Playing with a ping that high. I expect some of you play with pings even higher than 300 on average. So this thing is spiking all over the place. We've had well up into the high 400s. So we've still got the SU-100Y box tank to locate as well. Going to increase the speed times 8. We are going looking. Now it's got a speed cap on this tank, so maximum speed is about 45, 46, 45. I think it's 45. Yeah, it's 45 it caps out at. So I think he's got a feeling, a hunch, that the SU-100Y is going to go for the cap as well. I think artillery might be having blind shots. Assuming he's over here. There we go. This should be easy. Sam Slick 77 is now dead, so now it's just down to the artillery. So let's speed this replay up. Let's get down the other end of the map. We're going to try and go for the cap, which he may as well do. And now what I've neglected to actually point out to everyone during this is, if you've been watching the chat, our Tiger 1 has been pointing out our position the entire game. What an absolute scumbag. They're just the worst kind of players that call out friendly teammates' positions. Fair enough if they're AFK, you just want to see the end of the game if it's AFK, but hopefully he's been reported multiple times for this behaviour, because it really is unacceptable. 5 kills, can we get 6? Can we get Top Gun? Can we win this thing? But we're going to try and go into the cap. I would imagine he's already been banned, probably, this guy, if that's his habitual behaviour. Now this is risky, this. Parking next to the only bit of cover. Assuming the artillery's over in A9, A0, somewhere over there. That shot was nowhere near, but yeah, maybe parking next to cover is not a very good idea. So I think he understands that and decides he's going to move. We're going to drive around in big circles. Clock keeps counting. And I think this is going to be a nice tasty win. I wouldn't say it's the most exciting replay of World of Tanks I've ever put on the channel, but it's certainly an interesting replay of World of Tanks. We'll get to see his post-game stats and see how he fared on the team, having done actually very little, but very little sometimes is, without him, in this game, they would have lost. So let's see what very little can get you. Final scores, and good enough for an ace tanker in the M56 Scorpion. We also pick up a rather tasty medal, a Raider medal, capture the enemy base and remain undetected during the entire battle. So quite an extraordinary performance there from Stoff, and I wish I could pull that off and get that medal. I think that's quite impressive. Seemed to choose his moments very nicely, waited to tanks for far enough away that he could fire in that bush and remain undetected. Very good gunplay there. Couple of people, this is the guy who sent it in, FlashBoredom, commenting on his replay, and this guy said Elmer Fudd's voice was in his head when the Tiger 88 told him to be very, very quiet. How'd he do on the team? Wasn't quite good enough, a top actually, 1182 to the WZ111, so props to him for having a cracking game, but you know, big shout outs to StofTrommel, because without him the team would most certainly have lost. And for that extraordinary start to the game, I found that intriguing to watch and see just these tanks rolling past him. He was probably shaking when that was happening. And do it all on a 300 ping, and do it all with a douchebag of a Tiger 1 from the UA clan calling out his position the entire length of the game. So yeah, cracking result. You must be come out of that game absolutely stoked. Really cracking result. Thanks for sending it in, FlashBoredom. Did I say FlashBoredom? FlashBoredom. It sounds the same. Say it quick enough. FlashBoredom. Happy to put it up on the channel. So keep sending your replays in, please. I do need replays all the time. The more you send in, the more chance you get of being seen. Simple statistics. Thanks for watching, everyone. Kaidapow, and I'll play What a Tanks again real soon. Probably a head-to-head coming next, so keep your fingers crossed. It's you. Take care. Bye-bye.